Good afternoon. My name is Summer Hannah, and what if I told you the reason why you or someone you know has low self-esteem? What if I told you the reason why I have low self-esteem? Well, the reason for me is partly because of Disney princesses. That's because this franchise places unreasonable and outdated beauty standards upon their viewers. This is through the similar body types of their princesses, the association of a good personality with a beautiful outward appearance, as well as the overwhelming presence of white princesses in their movies. It's important to understand how these princesses affect children because it tells us what these children will grow up to believe. It tells us who these children will think are princesses, or in other words, who these children think are acceptable or worthy in society. So first, let's take a look at how all the Disney princesses have a similar appearance. Slide 2. Because the Disney princesses generally look the same, viewers become displeased with their own appearance. Slide 3. Let's take a look at these princesses. They all have small waists, large eyes, the same size breasts, small noses, and a natural face of makeup. This is an unrealistic image for a girl to aspire to. And in fact, girls who are exposed to a lot of Disney princess content are more likely to have low self-esteem and maybe form an eating disorder later in life. This was discovered by Sarah Coyne and her colleagues who conducted a study in 2016. Another study conducted in Thailand found that girls who watched Disney princess movies rather than Disney animal movies had lower body satisfaction scores after the study. These studies show that beauty standards placed on these girls through these movies do affect their self-esteem. Slide 4. Now, some people believe that Disney has righted their wrongs by creating more empowered females in these newer Disney princess movies. However, let's take a look at these princesses. Besides maybe Merida and Moana, who have more athletic body types and wider hips, all the other Disney princesses still are skinny with large eyes and small noses. While these movies do have better messages, they still give that same view of what a female's body should look like. Unfortunately, Disney has made a much larger impact upon their audience, beyond just what their body should look like. Next slide. Disney has led young viewers to believe that appearance is associated with personality, communicating to young viewers that they cannot be a princess, nor can they be a good person if they aren't beautiful on the outside. The researcher in Thailand found that protagonists were associated with a good and pleasant outward appearance. However, the antagonists were associated with an evil personality. Now let's take a look at these classic Disney villains. Notice they all have sharp facial features. They have a full face of makeup. Some of them are obese, and they all have something that makes them unattractive to society. Fortunately, Disney has recently created villains that either are not human or don't possess this stereotypical villain look. However, the researcher found that these villains aren't making a difference on children because children still associate an ugly outward appearance with being a villain. There's still another characteristic, though, that girls associate with being a princess. Next slide. And Disney has led young viewers to believe that they must be white to be a princess. Disney's channel is broadcast in 133 different countries across the world, so it's important to understand how these princesses affect girls outside of the United States. Well, a sociologist from Sweden decided to look into this, and her name was Sharua Paul, and she looked at girls from India, China, the United States, Sweden, and Fiji. And she asked them all to draw a princess. Now, most of them drew a princess with fair skin. And she also found that almost none of the girls from China, India, or Fiji drew a princess in their traditional clothing from their country. My mother, who's a preschool teacher, has a classroom full of multicultural students. And she has concluded the same thing. While these students' parents buy them book bags and toys that reflect princesses of the same ethnicity as them, all these girls still gravitate towards the white princesses during story time and playtime. And even more surprising, the principal of the school, who is a white blonde female, they call a princess, and they insist that she lives in a castle. But they don't say this about anyone else. Even though Disney has come out with princesses of different national origins, girls still believe a defining feature of a princess is being white. Next slide. With high exposure to these movies, children tend to have lower self-esteem, associate undesirable looks with an evil personality, and believe a princess can only be white. Next slide. So what can we do? These movies are so common that we can't isolate our younger siblings or the children we babysit or even our own kids from these movies, and nor should we. A lot of them have good messages and themes. However, according to Sarah Coyne and her colleagues, they realized that everything is good in moderation. Disney princesses shouldn't be the only thing that your children interact with. They should also be included in other activities so that they're not exposed too much to that ideal of body image and what they should look like. Together, we can redefine what constitutes a princess so children around the world believe that they are beautiful in their own skin. Thank you.